Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a week. I'm sorry. We missed another week, but we have a good excuse, okay? Welcome back to the Cousin
Connection
podcast.
I feel like my voice is now as deep as yours this week.
I know. It actually, this is 4 days of just not being recovered from that.
You sound okay.
Do I?
Yeah.
I want to keep this voice. This voice, I feel like sounds better. It sounds more like
bassy.
Manly.
Yeah, we're still recovering from Kuba week.
Mm-hmm.
Kuba is like the Hiiiiii soccer festival that takes place annually in different parts of the world, really. Well, before we get into it, because I know all y'all Hiiiiii people are probably watching this. So if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and take a moment and do that right now.
Yeah, we'll wait.
All right. Little ASMR, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so this is officially episode 99.
Crazy.
Yeah, and next week is going to be episode 100. And we already kind of spoiled it. Yeah, if you're paying attention to the stories, but we have something nice planned for that. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed so you actually get it.
Yep.
You'll be the first ones to see it because I feel like this is going to be a good one. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that, okay? But this week we'll be recapping basically what we did for the week of Kuba, which Sara mentioned already, but it's basically like a annual event that we do. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we're doing it since COVID, so this is like, we're kind of getting back into it, and we really got back into it this time. Like I was not expecting this much to get back into it. Okay,
let's before we actually get into the week. Yeah. Let's talk about like how we anticipate, like what we thought the week was going to be like.
I thought it was going to be like a good event or a good week. I thought it was, but I didn't know like how many people would be there.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a quarter of the size. When I say there were like thousands of people, there were like literally thousands of people. And try and picture thousands of people in an event that like usually would be held for like weddings and stuff.
But you know what though? Like, it made me realize, especially the first day on the Monday.
Yeah.
It was the observed Canada Day. There was like the opening ceremony. Was it the opening ceremony?
Yeah. Opening day.
Did I miss that? Why did I miss that?
What do you mean? It was on the Monday.
Yeah, how did I miss that?
You were there.
I came after the fact.
Yeah, you came late.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know.
There wasn't a reason. Just some people be late sometimes. I'm just saying, okay.
But what was the reason?
Yeah, so like, okay, then you know what? As someone who actually made it on a pretty good time, I'm just saying.
Oh, you caught it?
Yeah, of course I did.
All right, let Amir review his thoughts.
Okay, so opening day, I wasn't really expecting much. Now, when I say much, I mean like I was expecting a good event, but like I pulled up to this parking lot and I already knew it was going to be kind of crazy because there was literally not one spot open in 2 whole parking lots. And I'm talking about like these large like high school parking lots on both sides of the field. And to the point where like I was driving around for at least like 5-10 minutes looking for a spot. So I already knew it was going to be busy. Then finally I found a spot. Thankfully, it was like right next to the field. I guess no one knew that they could do street parking at the time. So I get out of the car and I look and it's like midday. There's already like at least 1,000 people on the field or on the side just conversing. It was overwhelming to say the least, right? Because this is the first day. So this is the day where you're kind of meeting everybody for the first time again after literally 4 or 5 years for some people, right? So I was kind of like taking it slowly, and literally I would take breaks. I would like walk up, say hi to a few people, and then I would like go and hide beside Hassan, who's like selling some books. Y'all know Hassan, right? He came out with a second book, by the way, Tom Project. Check it out. And then I would like go out again and venture out. And there was a second reason I was doing that because I don't know if y'all were in Toronto on that Monday. It was like last week. What is that? I don't know what day exactly, but let's just say it was a really hot week, and that was probably one of the hottest days. And we were in the middle of a soccer field, direct sun on top of our heads. This is midday, so you're dealing with like 30-degree weather. I don't know what made me think this because it was supposed to rain, or at least I thought it was gonna rain. So I wore I didn't think about it. I wore a full-on black shirt. So I would literally stand out, say hi to people out in the sun in the middle of the field, and I have to get back under the trees because my shirt would literally start heating up. Like,
what the hell?
It would, because it's black, right? So black attracts the heat and contains it. So it was literally cooking me.
I say that as I'm wearing all black.
Yeah, but we're inside, okay? Yeah. And I'm wearing all white. Ironically enough, like when it started cooling down near the end of the week, that's when I started wearing white. I don't know, guys. Sometimes I do things a little backward. But yeah, so I was just doing that. Thankfully, I mean, they had a pretty good opening ceremony. Typically what they do is that like they'll have all the men and women dress up in traditional clothing, or at least a certain group. They'll designate a group of people, like teenagers, and they'll have them walk around the soccer field in like a circle to like, present our culture essentially.
I've done that before.
You've done that?
Yeah.
I think I did it in Ethiopia. Oh no, I didn't. I was on the sidelines just walking with them.
In 2006, Toronto, Kuba. If you know, you know. I held the banner.
Really?
With the girls. Yeah, there's a photo.
Do you have a photo? Oh, I wish I could find that. If I find that, I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Yeah. Actually, one thing to note is that we're recording this like a few days later than we normally do. When we say it's been a crazy week, this also affected how our recording schedule is. And you already know that because you missed a week.
Also, I'm sick. So.
Oh, yeah. Sara's also sick. So I might be doing more talking.
No, I'll give my input. It's just.
Yeah. But what was I saying?
The intro,
so they did their rounds around the field. They had a nice little stage there where actually my cousin Timaj Garad, who also has an album out, she's an artist, you should check her out as well. She was hosting the event.
Did she sing that day too?
No, she was just hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had kids come on stage and do like some of the traditional dances and just like like an opening ceremony. You just kind of saying, hey guys, we're here. They had hulbut maraq on the side, of course, which, you know what, I know about like preserving culture and eating traditional food is very important for the culture and all that stuff. But when you're in the middle of a soccer field on the hottest day of the year and they're serving hulbut maraq, which is the most like, first off, it stains very easily. It's like, it's not a very good hand food. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know what my thing is? It's not even about that. The fact that when you eat it, it like seeps into your bloodstream.
It does. Yeah.
And when you sweat, you smell like it.
Exactly.
And if you're in the hot sun all day at the field, you're bound to smell like BO and hulbut.
Yeah. And speaking of like BO and sweat, this week really exposed my like insecurity about sweating. Because I sweat like, even right now, I sweat very, very easily. And this whole week was just me kind of like trying to like manage that.
Are you now considering Botox for your armpits?
I actually was considering. I was like, if I ever go to like, if I ever have a wedding, if I was about to say, if I ever have a wedding, which I don't want to have one, but if I did have to have a wedding, I'd probably get Botox for the wedding.
Just for the wedding?
Just for the wedding.
But I thought the sweating affected your day-to-day life.
It does, but like that's a very important event, and I don't want that to be something in the back of my head the whole time.
Oh, your armpits? Well,
like,
you'll be wearing a
not
jacket
my arm,
anyway.
my face, everything. Oh yeah, but you'd have to get it in your face too.
I don't know. That I don't know.
Yeah,
you'd have to do research. But like, you okay?
No, I'm telling you, I just sweat very easily. Where's my tissue box?
It's right here.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I also did just come back from the gym as well, and I had a little pre-workout before that. So yeah, and let's just say I didn't have time to take a shower yet. So
Ew, is that what I smell? I'm just kidding.
yes, it is. But yeah, that opening ceremony was nice. They played soccer. Of course, everything was running on Habesha time that day. So, the soccer games will start at like 1 o'clock or something. And it was like 6 o'clock.
You know what, though? Like, think about it logically. Who's really going to play at the hottest hour of the day?
Yeah. So at least that saved them the fact that they were burning up. But it also did kind of make it awkward because we also, since, we're evolving as a community, Kuba is not the only sport our youth like to involve themselves in. They especially in the West, they like to involve themselves in more like basketball, right? So that's been like something they've had it for a long time, but I feel like it was more prominent this year.
Yeah,
maybe just to me.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
They really like put it in more effort.
Exactly. So like there were just as many people participating in basketball. In soccer. In basketball versus soccer. Soccer is usually like the main thing.
Yeah, a lot of the guys were playing both sports.
Yeah, and that was why it made it awkward because I was getting to that point is that there's some guys who were playing a game of soccer and then immediately would have to get off the field and go and play basketball inside.
Yeah. No break to rest or anything
exactly.
like that.
So that was definitely a little. It took a little time getting used to that whole schedule.
You know what else?
But
it
worked
though?
out. Yeah.
I noticed this on the opening day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some girls on the team.
Oh yeah. Edmonton.
I was like, I love that.
Yeah, the Edmonton had a few girls on the team.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it to the finals, but
listen, we don't need that negativity. Okay.
I'm playing.
You were all winners at heart. Okay.
Yeah,
what matters
yeah.
is not who won. It's what matters is that you had fun.
Exactly.
Okay,
What
so
or is it? I'm just saying. Okay.
Toronto still won because
done. No, you have to represent. We lose out here.
But yeah, you know what? I actually agree with you. I did feel overwhelmed that first day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew that there would be like a good handful of people.
Yeah.
But that was like,
Mm-hmm.
I got there and I was like, whoa, like,
yeah.
every Harari person I've ever known in my entire life is here.
And the moment I saw all those people, I was like, I'm definitely not getting sleep this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt the same.
When 90% of those people are on vacation, or 90% of your friends who just visit are on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I did sort of regret not taking any time off, but I was able to manage for the most part. I think you were too able to manage.
Until now.
Oh yeah, until
now. It
now.
caught up to me.
Exactly. I thankfully all I did was lose a voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good, I feel like that was enough of a sacrifice.
I kind of wish like I took off like at least 1 or 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Monday was fine because we were already off anyways. But like I wish I took off like the Thursday and possibly like the Wednesday.
Yeah. Hey, hindsight's 2020.
It's okay.
Can't change the past. We just know for the future.
Yeah, we tried to make it to the events, like whatever was left over after the fact. And
honestly, I kind of knew how Habesha time works.
Yeah, that too.
So
I knew that they were gonna be late. So
yeah,
I was just like, whatever.
Like even though I was working the whole week, I don't think I missed anything. Like the only thing I missed is the sports that they were playing throughout the day.
Yeah, that was the only unfortunate thing, was that the soccer games and the basketball games were kind of separated in terms of location. So you kind of had to like pick, because a lot of them were overlapping.
But not only that, the fact that a lot of them were happening during the day, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The games were happening. They were just happening midday.
Yeah.
But I was fine with that. I got to meet the guys afterwards, or the people afterwards anyways. So that was Monday. We had the opening ceremony. Everything kind of went well there. And on Tuesday, what did we do on Tuesday?
The days are blurring together.
Oh yeah. Tuesday was our Maulud day. Yeah.
Was that Tuesday? Oh
yeah, it was. I would know because I had to set up the sound system for it.
Yeah.
So that was a whole thing in itself. And like honestly, that day was pretty chill. Like everything kind of ended nicely. Like it wasn't like a late night or anything. We did our traditional Maulud that we.
No, the Maulud ended late.
Did it? No. Well,
it started late.
It ended late. And then the kids and then the young people were like, "Yo, we can keep this going." So they went on for like another hour.
Oh, that's why?
Yeah.
Oh, because I swear it went on to like midnight or something.
Yeah, but it finished technically at like 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that night, like, I knew, I was like, oh yeah, I have work tomorrow, so I'm just going to go home. Mm-hmm. And I went home that night for the first time.
I think everyone kind of just went home that night because we were already like gassed from the Maulud anyways.
Yeah.
So that kind of...
that was the last night we went home.
Yeah, that was the last night we went home directly. And the next day, though...
Was Center Island.
Mm-hmm. And that one was like... That really gave me idea of the scale of amount of people who were there. Because I was going... First off, I had a whole day of work, okay? I was coming from Brampton. I drove from Brampton. This is right after I drove from Brampton to the ferry area, parked my car, walked up, and I was still on a full ferry of Harari people. Like really? How? Yeah, literally all of us were on there.
I think because like a lot of the local Torontonians were still working and they just showed up after work. Myself.
Okay, included. Maybe that's what it was.
But also like that day was really hot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had kids. So they like, I think the ones with the kids went early.
Yeah.
And then the older ones were like, we're not going to sit in the sun at 2 p.m. Like we'll just go at 5.
Exactly. But that was also like, we took over half the island.
Half, like pretty much the whole thing. I got off the little water taxi and I was like, oh my God, Africans everywhere. Like, they're all over.
Yeah, like there were so many people. They literally had like a wedding in the back.
Oh yeah, so that was like...
It was like a mock wedding, but still, they had a wedding in the back.
Yeah, for like the 2 brides that got married in the last like year or so. They got them to dress up in the cultural outfits.
Yeah.
And did like a little mini celebration. It was kind of cute.
Yeah, and there's like apparently there's a boat of like full white people.
Really?
Yeah, who was passing by, and they're all like, the moment they hear this all going on, they all like turn around, and the whole boat starts like standing like towards us, and they're all like taking pictures, they're waving, they're like dancing to whatever's playing in there.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it happened like as they were doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were a lot of curious people because like,
yeah,
when are you gonna see a wedding in the middle?
That's true.
Of Center Island, right?
True.
Yeah, they had volleyball. You know, could play with the kids, and like you could look as far as you want on that field in Center Island, and I was just seeing our people. That was all it was.
Everywhere you went.
Yeah.
And it was like you'll see like groups of families sitting under the trees and stuff, and you're like, oh hey, like that day was when I realized like, oh my god, I know too many people.
What do you mean?
It's like every time you're like talking to someone and you're
you
just getting over the small
like
talk,
a deep convo.
like
Yeah,
you're just getting over and you're about to get into something deep. Someone new is like, oh my god, hey, and you're like, sorry, everyone's like, hey, how's it going? And like by the end of it, I'm pretty extroverted compared to Amir, but I now understand what he feels. Like I genuinely felt my social battery being drained. Like actually drained. I was like, when on my way home, I was just like, I can't talk. Like I just want to sit in silence. Like need to recharge. Yeah,
that was me. Basically the whole week. Just
you guys went out that night, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
You did. I didn't.
I literally can't remember.
You went to Dost and something else.
I literally can't remember.
You guys,
the nights all blend together.
That was a night I had to take our uncle home.
Yeah.
Remember? So I had to go all the way to Scarborough.
Oh, okay.
And you guys were like, oh, come back. And I was like, I can't be bothered.
Oh, actually, I forgot to mention Aisha was here the whole time too. So yeah.
You'll see her in our next video.
So that was like another motivation for me to like continue
to go out
and stuff, because like I can't just like bring her home because I'm the driver.
Side note,
yeah,
she was here, but so were all of our cousins from
exactly.
Switzerland, and they were staying with me. And so, you know, part of me was like, I can't just like, I didn't want to just leave them, like, or bring them home just because I had to go home. So like the first 2 nights, I think I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna go home, they can have fun. But then I was like, no, I also kind of feel responsible for them. Like I don't want them to just go home with random people. Yeah. So I started going out just to make sure that they got home safely.
Peer pressure, man. That's how it works. No, actually, no. That's like, you know, you're trying to give your family a good time, basically.
That was more of a, I was just trying to be responsible and hospitable, I guess.
Yeah, so that was basically most of our nights. Just like, you have whatever event it is, and then you just go to like an after place to just chill for like until 2:00 in the morning.
But it wasn't even a chill vibe because everyone went.
Oh, yeah. No, but like, I guess it really depends on the how much you feel like interacting at that point. Yeah,
like the Thursday, I believe. That was Harari Day. Yeah. I didn't even go to that because I went into the office Wednesday, Thursday. And by Thursday, I was like so tired that I came home and I took an hour power nap, woke up, and then like the event was almost done. So I'm like, there's no point. I'm just going to wear.
Oh, yeah. You just came to food afterwards.
Yeah. Like I just changed, came to eat dinner.
Mind you, these places are like 5 minutes away from her house, okay? Every single spot was like 5 minutes away from her house.
They were, but I also didn't want to just show up to like a cultural day in like work clothing.
Yeah, but honestly, like not half the people, but there were a good amount of people who just came and chill. And like, yeah, when you're in Northern City, you know, you have to feel that pressure, you know, just saying.
I didn't feel that pressure because.
What? Oh, your nose ready?
Damn it.
Speaking of Harari Day was really nice. Like I mentioned earlier, Timaj Girad, who's an artist, was also got to perform on stage there.
Did you see her performance?
Yeah,
did you record it?
I didn't record nothing.
Damn.
The whole week.
Damn.
Yeah, it was really bad. We were at the beginning of the week. We're like, yo, we should vlog this whole thing.
Yeah,
not once. Didn't pull out my phone once.
It was hard because we would kind of show up to the events at the end of the day. So, and as soon as we'd get there, we would be engaged in conversation from the moment we get there to the moment we leave.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it was hard to like step back and vlog when we weren't actually there for what we wanted to vlog. Yeah. But inshallah, next Kuba.
Yeah, we'll try and keep that in mind. Okay, yeah. We're still getting used to it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Harari Day was nice. I already knew, even though I came after work, you know, this thing ain't starting until, even those techniques will start to like what, 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. something like that.
1 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I'm not gonna miss much. I came right after work. I was like, nice. I'm not gonna be losing
value for your ticket.
Yeah, value for my ticket here.
I got you.
But speaking of that, I'm not gonna lie, literally I stood outside of the place talking to people the whole time.
Did you buy a ticket?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
What?
You bought a ticket and then you
support the culture, man. That's all it is. They let us in the venue. You know, the venue costs money too.
Right.
Yeah, but there's just so many people to interact with and just speak to, and I can't help myself. Okay, I feel like I need to.
Are you becoming extroverted?
Huh? No, I just, you know what it is? I found out that I just don't like silence, and I like people to feel included. So I will like, and not that I feel like they need to feel like they're included, but it's just that like I feel like everyone should be part of the conversation. Yeah. So if I'm standing somewhere and I'm having conversation with someone and someone's like here and I know them, I'll try and like figure a way to like bring them into the conversation and just making, you know, a vibe basically.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that was just me the whole 4 or 5 hours we were there. And
then we went out to eat and then we went out again.
Yeah.
I think that night I got home at like
Actually, no, 2. I went home directly after that.
You did.
Yeah. See, I was being responsible a little bit. Okay.
Kinda.
That was on a Thursday night, right?
Yeah, no, I went out. We went.
Yeah, because I had to go into the office. The thing is, the days that I had to go into the office the next day, I knew I couldn't do much.
I was working from home on Friday.
See, so I had to go into the office on like Monday. Well, I didn't have money, so like Wednesday and Friday. So those days I'll be a little bit more responsible. But on like Friday, when I knew I didn't have to.
What was Friday? Oh, Friday. What did we do?
Friday, literally all we did was go, because there was supposed to be an event, but we were all already tired. Like when I say, because this was at the end of the week, like after we've gone through, you know, Monday to Friday, everything we've spoken about now, I was so tired. Same. Like so exhausted. There was a point where I think we were at
that day was actual miscommunication because I was trying to get you and Gizman to come to basketball. And I thought I sent her.
That was the day.
That's what, right? So like I texted her and I was like, hey, so I'm leaving now. And
wait, like, should we give context?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so context is that we were trying to catch the last games of soccer and basketball, and they're both at the same school initially. No. Yes, they were. They were initially at the same school. So, you know, me and my sister, we pulled up to the spot right after I finished work, and we're like, okay, we'll catch like the last of the soccer game and then the basketball game. The moment we get there, we're like, you know, so there's not as many cars here. And the field, they were playing soccer, but there weren't like as many people as we were expecting. And we found out that the reason for that is because apparently at the basketball court, as they were playing the games, someone brought a friend who was a non-Huttery, just saying, who was a non-Huttery. And he may have gotten into an altercation with the janitor of the school.
That's so crazy. And so disrespectful. Like, so like, yeah, it turned into like a pushing contest basically with the janitor.
And because of that, the school, they were somewhat reasonable. They're like, okay, we won't let you guys play basketball here anymore, but we'll let you continue to use the field. And I think they said that because like the field is outside. We already had our own facilities for like washrooms and all that stuff. So there was nothing really they needed to do. So they kicked everybody out for the basketball court, and these guys they had to find a court last minute, so I'll give them that. Yeah. But of course, this court had to be literally on the other side of the city. Like we're in Scarborough right now, or for that soccer field, we're in Scarborough, and the basketball game was in Woodbridge. And anyone who knows Toronto knows that like you're going directly across the whole not the whole 401, but the 401 throughout the city, through the city. And at this time of year, the 401 has been horrible. Like everyone who's visited the city, their like number one complaint or number one gripe is like how bad the traffic is. Yep. And like there's nothing we can do but agree with them because the traffic has been horrible. Like they're closing main highways, like 2 to 3 lanes of these main highways at rush hour, and it looks like the construction there's no like immediacy, or there's no like what is it when you try and like speed something up?
They don't really like, there's no sense of urgency.
Yeah, there's no sense of urgency for it. Like I'm always hearing these projects that are going on in like Tokyo or like Japan or China, where they're building whole buildings and roads and like facilities in sometimes less than a week. Yeah.
What? No way.
Did you not hear about, remember in COVID, how in China they built like a whole hospital for like COVID patients within like 2 days or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What did they just work nonstop for 48 hours?
They put in a good amount of workforce. Like, do you remember
2 days?
Do you remember Extreme Makeover Home Edition?
Yeah, they had a week.
They had a week to build basically a mansion. So if they can do that.
But they had like hundreds of people working on that.
Yeah, but when you have when you're working with the city and like you're dealing with major roads, there should be some sense of urgency, and they should be putting more money towards something like that to support that workforce, right? Because right now, I think the main issue in the city is that, sorry, we're getting kind of like to like local politics here, but like is the lack of workers, and I think it was the lack of workers because of what happened during COVID, but I think it's also maybe like the pay isn't as lucrative maybe as it used to be.
Really? I thought the pay was pretty good.
If it is, then I don't know why there are more people kind of gearing. Maybe because it's also really just hot outside. People don't want to be working outside. Because there's a lot of people who like the work from home style.
The contracts or something. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not really like super in tune with what's going on there. But
but I do know that it has something to do with the lack of a workforce to be able to support it.
Yeah.
So that's why you see like a lot of times when you're driving past all this construction, you're not even seeing workers there.
Yeah.
And if you are, it's maybe like 2 or 3 guys are standing around, like one's watching the guy while he's like digging something. Yeah. But shout out to all the construction workers. Like, hey, you guys you're doing your thing.
They're trying.
Yeah. But how did I oh yeah. So the Woodbridge thing. So there was a miscommunication after this happened where they had to move it to the Woodbridge area. So we were supposed to meet up with Sara and was it Nabat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the basketball court, and we're like, oh, okay, we came to the field, and we're like, okay, we're gonna go inside right now. No one was there, and then we messaged Sara like, where are you? She's like, oh, we're at the basketball court in Woodbridge.
No, it was what it was like, so I told Gizman, I was like, okay, here's the address.
Yeah.
And then I told her like, okay, I'm leaving now. And then Nabat, same thing. And then I think Nabat got there before me, and she called your sister, and she's like, oh, where are you? And Nabat was like, oh, I'm in the court, and Gizman's like, okay, I'm on the field. And then Nabat's like, what field? There's no field here. And then that's when he realized. And then I texted Gizman because I didn't know at this point. As soon as I got there, I'm like, where are you? And she's like, oh, come to the soccer field. I'm like, huh? I'm walking down the hallway. She's like, what? So then I realized like, we went to 2 different locations, and then I felt really bad. But
by the way, guys, there's 2 incidents this week where Sara gave the wrong address to someone. So
I didn't give the wrong address. I'm just saying,
okay.
I didn't give the wrong. I know what you're
there's
talking
a common
about.
denominator here. Okay.
No, I sent her the screenshot though.
Sorry.
I sent her the screenshot of the basketball address.
Yeah, so I think it was just we were thinking it was at the same place. I'm not sure, but that was just miscommunication. But honestly, we were fine. We were walking around the field. Actually, that kind of put me at ease because there was less people there, and it allowed us, for the people who were there, to like have longer conversations, stand around and actually like interact with people and feel like we got something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like we got to see a few people's new kids and babies that we haven't seen in years. Like some of them, they had the kid and the kid's like already running around, and we were just seeing them for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So that allowed us to do that and at least speak to them and talk about their experiences and all that. So it worked out. And I think that same night was supposed to be a gala night, but we were already exhausted and we didn't have food yet. And it was already, I think, like 10 p.m. at this point. So we were like, you know what? I had all my stuff in the car, like my suit and all that.
You did?
Yeah, just in case. So we went to this place called Omni Palace, which is on Yonge Street. It's like a Chinese noodle shop. Oh, you went to that
location? I thought
you guys they only have one location now. They that one's closed.
Really?
Yeah, they moved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we went to this place called Omni Palace, which makes like hand-pulled noodles. So if you're ever downtown Toronto or northern Toronto on Yonge Street, you can check that out. They have, and it's halal too. So we chilled there, and by the time we were done that, it was like 11 p.m. I was like, you know what, Gizman? You know what, Aisha? I think I'm going to make it. I'm going to go to this event because I knew that they were going to start late anyways. Like when I say it was 11 o'clock, you're like, oh, that's late to go to an event. Let's just say like that might have been early compared to when it actually started. So I got in the car. She went with someone else. You guys were going to go somewhere else to chill.
They met up with us at Joey's.
Yeah. I drove halfway to the gala spot. And I had to stop at a gas station for some reason, and I just knocked out.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I sat in the car, and I was like checking my oil because it was making some weird sounds. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take like a 5-minute nap. I like leaned back. I had the car, it was like in a dark corner or whatever. I leaned back, laid down, and I woke up like 20 to 30 minutes later. Yeah, and I was like, nah, I'm not making this event. There's no way. I was way too tired, and that's when I called y'all, and I was like, where y'all at? And then unexpectedly, I like pull up to you guys. I was thinking you guys, so they went to Shops at Don Mills, and like in Shops at Don Mills in Toronto. So anyone who hasn't been to Toronto, like I'm showing you all the spots, okay? Yeah. So Shops at Don Mills, they have like this center area where there's like a turf field, and people just chill there. You can sit down. They have tables. They have ice cream shops on the side if you want to get ice cream. They have a movie theater across the street. So it's like a nice chill area, and they have a bunch of restaurants surrounding it. So I pulled up, and I was like, where are these guys? I was expecting you guys to be chilling there. And I hear you guys are like at a restaurant called Joey's. I was like, okay, you know, maybe a small thing at Joey's. I pull up into this place. I walk in. I see like 20 people.
Relax. 20. It was like 16.
Okay, 4 less people, 16 people. I was like, when did this happen? Like, that's the thing. During Kuba, a small thing would be 16 people.
Yeah,
like you're not.
So true.
Like if one person hears about it, like one group hears about it, there might be like 2 other groups that hear about it, and you're turning like what might have been 5 people coming to something to like 20 people easily. Yeah. I think a good example of that is Sumac. So there's a place called Sumac on Warden in Lawrence. Like if you ever go to Toronto, check that place out. Amazing.
I actually have
shawarma, veal, like anything. They're so nice. You never had that place? No. You weren't there?
No, I
didn't.
That
night? Oh, okay. I forget which night it was because everything kind of blends together. Was it Central Island night? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So first it was going to be just a few of us going there because this place is small. Like it literally has 3 tables, and then they have like the area where you can order the food, and it's very compact. So we pull up. We're the first ones there. We start getting our food, and actually you were there.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, we start getting our food. we start getting our food, and then we see like a few other people pull up that we were sort of expecting, but we didn't know, and we didn't know that they were. We didn't know if they were confirmed, and then it was like maybe 4 of them, and then another 4 show up, and then like another 4 show up, and another 4. To the point where we took over the restaurant.
Oh my God.
Like every table, when we first got there, all the tables were kind of taken up. So we're like, oh, we might have to sit outside. But then people started eventually getting up and leaving. But as they were getting up and leaving, like we were starting to sit down, and to the point where we took over every single chair in that place.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And there was a lot of us, and we were already like hyped up from the day. You know, we've been out all day in Central Island. We still have a lot to talk about, just about the week and what's been going on, to the point where we were getting so loud in that spot that like the workers, they started like, you could see the TV. I was seeing the TV in my background. They're like turning up the volume because you know how they play like the music out there, right? They're like turning up the volume. It's like 68, 70.
Oh my God!
80,
to shut you guys up.
90. It went up to like 100 at one point. and then all you can hear in the workers, they're not saying anything directly, but you can hear them whistling, going like they're making like noises. And like one time, one guy's like he does a couple claps.
Really?
Yeah. Damn. So we're like, okay. Eventually, we got the message, right? We're like, oh shoot, we should probably be quiet here. But we start ramping up again to the point where we're like, okay, we got to step out of here and go somewhere else. And I can't remember if we went anywhere after that. Like my brain is kind of fried at this point.
You did.
Did we? Okay, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's what I'm talking about when something can turn from something small to something very big, which I actually kind of like just that having that. It brought back like 2016 pre-COVID Kuba times.
Yeah.
Because like there were certain years, especially when we were younger, you know, when we had more youthful spirit. Like it reminded me of that. I was like, you know, let's bring it back to my younger days. But yeah, I didn't know that we would capture the magic again, if that makes sense, of Kuba.
Yeah.
But I feel like we did this year, and like it actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting, and like there was a lot of good connections we made, and it was just good overall, like a good experience.
I think like when we went to the gala night, the gala night, I don't know why I call it gala night. That's so weird. Anyways, the gala night.
Ew.
And I saw like how hyped everyone was. I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Oh, like, for the second night, right?
The second night on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't even know if we have, I don't know if I have clips from that. If we do, like, we'll insert it here somewhere.
I don't know about them clips. It's going to be a little
From
crazy.
Really?
From the Gala night?
It's fine.
Okay, if you say it's fine.
Mosh pit vibes.
If you say it's fine, okay.
I think I have some, like, safe for work clips.
Oh, okay.
Not that anything crazy happened.
Yeah, nothing crazy happened, but, like, I don't know who's going to be watching this video.
It's fine. I think, you know, like, seeing, obviously, like, if you're Harari, you know, Adib and Adham are, like, the superstars.
Mm-hmm. You know, they actually, at the Harari Day, they did, like, a dedication for him. What do you call it? Like a
chant.
No. They did dedication, like I guess you call it like an honoring. You know, when like someone's like put into a Hall of Fame, what do you call that? They did like something to honor him, essentially. Okay. For his work and his work for the community.
Adib?
Yeah, like they made a whole video.
That's so cute.
Yeah, they had him on stage and they like gave him, I don't know if they gave him something, but they basically like made a moment. You know, they gave him his flowers. That's what it is.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that went down. Sorry, I cut you off there. What were you saying?
That's okay. I was just saying, like, seeing how happy they were to see, like, all of the diaspora kids singing their songs back to them. Especially because, you know, not everyone really even understands the lyrics to these songs. Yeah. But they were, like, screaming the songs back to them word for word to the point where, like, at one point, Atam was just like, here, y'all can like, you guys sing. The kids, like, rushed the stage.
Oh, yeah. There's one point where there's at least 50 people on stage.
Right? And then he had to, like, stop singing. And he's like, guys, the stage is going to break.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to need you to hop off at this point.
Yeah.
And then, like, speaking of, like, to kind of go back to what Amir was saying before that, in terms of, like, we tried to have small hangouts. And then it turned out to be really big. Mm-hmm. The last night, which was on Sunday. Mm-hmm. The bonfire.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we need to talk about that.
That's like an extreme example of like something small turning to something very big.
It was literally like I got a text from my friend saying, hey, a couple of my cousins and I are doing like a little bonfire. Yeah, you and your cousins should come through. And I was like, all right, like, okay, sure. And I heard about one happening at the Scarborough Bluffs, but this one was at like the Evergreen Brickworks. Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know what, the Bluffs is kind of annoying to get to, like let's just go here.
So I didn't know this place even existed. Like, if I
knew about it, because Gizman and I were talking about it before.
The bonfire place.
Oh yeah, same. I had no idea what I was walking into. Yeah. So I was like, okay, sure, like we'll show up. So we got there and the parking lot was like pretty empty. So I'm like, damn, are we still on Harari timing? Like, what's going on? But then we walk up and it was like a good like 20 to 30 people there. Yeah. And even that I was like, whoa, okay, this is bigger than I thought. But like, whatever, it's fine. So we're, you know, getting comfortable sitting down. And then my friend who texted me was like, you know, I think since there are a little bit more people than we expected, like, let's do some icebreaker games. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool, no problem. And so her and I and our other friend, the three of us were like sitting there on our phones, kind of like looking up different icebreakers to play in a group of like 30 people. And for the 5 to 10 minutes that we were doing that, I didn't notice all the other people that were like accumulating in the back.
Let's just say it went from, 30 to 40 people to 300 people.
Yeah, no, like literally, he's not even exaggerating.
Not exaggerating.
Like when I looked up, I was like, "There's no, that's insane." Like
it was to the point. So okay, imagine this. So there's this bonfire. It's not like down in a low place. It's at the top of a hill, and it's like surrounded by woods essentially. And there's a trail that goes up to it, but I guess like people didn't realize where the entrance for the trailers or where it stopped and where it started. So there are people coming out from the bushes.
Yeah, I noticed
from
that.
From all directions. There are people coming in from like from a tree right behind me, and like there's a couple I guess paths that we didn't know about. Yeah. I don't think they're real paths. Like people just made those paths. Yeah. And like people are huffing and puffing. They're like, how'd you guys get up here? It's like there's a paved path like right next to it, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. But then like when I saw how many people there were, so previously my friend was like, Sara, can you host the icebreakers? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. 30 people, no big deal. Then I turned around and I was like, hold up. That just like quadrupled, more than that even. Yeah. So I go to Amir. I'm like, yo, it's about to be a Cousin Connection bonfire. Yeah. Can you host this with me? And he was like, yeah, okay. And so we kind of like hosted the icebreaker games. And as we were hosting, more people started coming. And it kind of got to a point where it was like too large of a group to like continue with the games because not everyone was hearing it and like not feeling included.
But of course, Amir, the crowd control guru came to the rescue.
Amir started like playing charades with the group, and like at first they were like and then everyone got into it, when they were cheering and stuff. And then after a while, like, people were mingling and mixing and just like talking and stuff. Yeah. And then they kind of like turned on some R&B music, and it just turned into like a giant karaoke, which was so cute. And then they started to play like the Hiiiiii songs, and it was just like very wholesome.
Yeah, it was a vibe for sure. Like just the whole thing. First off, just to let you know, my voice was already gone.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that because, okay, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but we're recording this like 2 or 3 days after we already recorded episode 100.
Yeah.
So we already recorded our next episode. We're just doing this one because we didn't want to miss another week.
Right.
So my voice was gone from that. We just had a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to say. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I was projecting. I swear, I feel like I got abs that night. I was projecting my voice because when you're trying to get your voice across to 300 people without a mic, you have to like just reach deep down into that diaphragm and like trying to. Thankfully, there's a trick we learned from an event you never mentioned, which I'll get back to, where you can get everybody's attention literally just by saying, if you hear me, clap once. If you hear me, clap twice. When you do that, I don't know what it triggers something in everyone's brain. Everyone follows along to your instructions like it's Simon Says and gets quiet.
It's PTSD from school, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It worked perfectly every single time.
It did.
Every single time.
But to segue into that event that Amir's talking about, I think I got to preface it by talking about the origins of Kuba, why it was started, the reason, the purpose. One of the reasons is, of course, to bring together the Hiiiiis in the diaspora.
Oh, we didn't finish about the bonfire.
I apologize. Let's go back to that real quick.
Yeah, like in the middle of our event, all we hear is like fireworks going off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so just
I wasn't happy about that, I'll be honest with you.
It was fine, whatever, okay.
They were shooting it into the crowd at first,
No, they weren't.
Yes, they did, because the guy in front of me, it hit his hair. And I was like, oh, hell nah.
Okay, someone just didn't have good aim. But like we were in the middle of like us hosting this thing, we just hear a fire, something go off, an explosion in the air, and we look up and there's fireworks there, and everyone's attention's already just off at this point. Like we were doing something, but I think everybody was just looking at that, and they just start going off with the fireworks. First it started off a little like scattered, and then just kept going at it. Yeah. And literally in the middle of my whatever we were doing, I was like, okay guys, so before we get kicked out of here for the police coming up, let's do a couple more things or whatever we were moving on to. But surprisingly enough, after that was all going off, and remember, this place is in the middle of the Don Valley. If you're in Toronto, this is like between downtown and like basically Scarborough.
Yeah.
Like that, it's like the splitting line between that. But no cops showed up, even though there were cops.
You know what, though?
At the parking lot earlier.
There were?
Yeah, they were circling the place like 100 times.
I didn't see them.
Yeah, they were there for when the moment we pulled up. They were driving around like just doing circles essentially around all the cars, because I guess maybe they're confused on why a bunch of cars just pulled up to this place, right?
But like from the parking lot, you can't really, like, until the end of the night, you couldn't really hear what was going on because the music was quiet. It wasn't until the end when they were blasting it.
But fireworks.
Yeah, I know.
That you can see from everywhere.
Is that illegal?
Yeah, it's definitely illegal.
What about people that do it on like Canada Day and stuff?
Yeah, but like cops aren't really gonna do much.
But it's only when it's not a holiday that they kind of care.
Yeah, for the most part, and like if you're just hurting someone, cops have better things to do, honestly.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like it kind of added to the vibe for me. I know you probably didn't like it, but I was like,
I once they started like shooting it in the sky, it was fine. Like it was actually really cute. And like people that were dancing and stuff, like it was nice.
Yeah,
I thought it was really like I enjoyed it and stuff.
And when she says people dancing, like there was literally like a break dancing competition in the middle.
I have a video.
Me too.
I really want to post it.
There's a whole break dancing competition going on in the middle of the fire, like right next to the fire too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, it was just like good vibes all around. And then at one point I'm like, yo, what time is it? It's a Sunday. And I saw that it was like 12. So I texted my cousins that I came with, and I'm like, y'all ready to leave? But it was like just getting hyped at this point. They're like, no, can we stay a little longer? And I was like, all right, fine, we'll stay. I didn't leave until 1:30.
Damn.
Because I went to go get them.
Yeah. And
then I saw my other friends that I met that week, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go say hi to them.
Yeah.
And then we just got into like a deep ass conversation.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. But
you
it's
always
okay.
You gotta do what we did, man. We did the Irish goodbye. We just walked away at like 12:30.
Yeah, no, I walked up with you guys. I walked up with you guys, and then I went to go get Nia and them.
Yeah.
And then I saw my friend, so I was like, oh, hey, guys.
Yeah, Sara left, and she never came back.
I never came back. So, like, yeah. And then by the time...
I kind of feel bad, though, because, like, all the people that I visited, too, I didn't get to properly say goodbye to them. But there was just so much going on. People were, like, hyped about the karaoke stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is my moment to get out of here. And yeah, and I had work the next day. I was trying to be responsible. So I told her, yo, let's just head out of here.
Yeah, I wasn't responsible. I got home at 2 a.m. So...
See, so... Man, didn't get sleep, but you work from home, so you're good.
Yeah, but I was just tired from like the whole, like the night before we got home at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we didn't mention that part. So the Gala night didn't really finish till the sun came back up.
Literally. But yeah, so like overall, it was honestly really fun. But I feel like we skipped over like a really important event that took place. Yeah. Which was what I was prefacing.
Which is
before.
A new event.
Yeah.
That I don't think has ever been done at Kuba, but I do feel like it was a good event. And something they should continue. Do you want to go on, or should I? Oh, you were talking about like the origins of Kuba, the unofficial origins of Kuba.
No, that it was pretty intentional.
Yeah, but it's like not official. They didn't intentionally say it.
No, yeah, it was like kind of like the underlying intention.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you know what I was saying earlier was that when the committee for the soccer festival came together, they basically wanted to bring together all of the hararis that are around the world every year. So get everyone to be connected and everyone loves soccer, right? So like they basically use that as the excuse to bring everyone together, but also to connect the youth or even older people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be youth, but like to connect people in terms of like even finding a spouse and like just getting people to meet each other. And so in the past, like way before COVID, when we were a lot younger, like a lot of the couples that are now married met through Kuba, like especially when it's like North America, like Canada and America and stuff. A lot of them met through there. And so this year, they actually came up with this idea to have a singles mingle and mix brunch.
Mix and mingle?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Did you know that actually someone, I can't remember from which state, it might have been Dallas, but someone... It was actually someone's idea, and they wanted to sponsor the event. And that's why when they initially made the post on Instagram, it was called like Singles Mix and Mingle. Yeah. But then that person, the sponsor, backed down, and then they had to like rejig or like just change up the advertisement. But I think, you know, during the week, like leading up to it, because it was this Saturday, like the very end of the week, a lot of people were like very apprehensive about going. Like I'm sure.
Were they?
Yeah, because they were like, that's so awkward. Like that means you're intentionally going to look for someone. And I think, you know, one of the questions that we had, like someone asked us was like, why are people so embarrassed about saying that they're looking for someone? You know? Yeah. Did you feel apprehensive, or were you like intentionally going to go?
Well, the reason I didn't feel, and I probably wouldn't have felt apprehensive either way, is because I didn't realize how much they really meant the mix and mingle. like essentially it turned to like a speed dating thing for the first half, and then it just turned into a really awkward situation for the second half, but like it sort of worked out anyways.
Yeah, like I
and
think
awkward like in a good way, but also in a way it's like, damn, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah, like we didn't have any details. All we knew was the location. Yeah. And like, okay, it's a mingle and mix. Mix and mingle, whatever. That's all we knew. And so
God dang it. Okay, guys, so it's gonna be awkwardly cut here because for some reason, for the first time in a long time, the camera just chose to stop recording. So we're gonna have to like reiterate reiterate a lot of the stuff we already said. Is that reiterate?
You could just say repeat.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to repeat a lot of stuff we just said. We
were saying earlier, like we had no details of this event. We just knew that it was a mix and mingle brunch. Yeah. And it was 21 plus. That's all we knew. So we were like, all right, we don't know what we're going to expect, but we're just going to go in there and see what they're going to do. Yeah. And honestly, like when I got there, I was surprised at the turnout. Like there were a lot more people than I thought.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. Hey, you know, we're trying out here, man. Yeah. I feel like now we're being more unapologetically open to stating that we're like, we're looking for another Harari person.
But can I ask you,
what?
From a guy's perspective, why are some people embarrassed of admitting that they're single and looking?
I think we tried to understand this actually on the episode 100, so next week. So I'm trying to remember what I said then. But
you
honestly,
said that you didn't want to look desperate.
Look desperate?
You said that they didn't, like, people don't want to look desperate, but I don't understand how that equates to it.
Yeah, maybe it is. I can't. The thing is, I used to be in that headspace, so and even then I couldn't. Even then I can't explain why.
Really?
Maybe it's just like insecurities, fear of rejection. That's what it was. Fear of rejection was the reason.
So you would rather so would I.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about, Sara? You've literally said on this podcast before that like you will die before you say anything to someone.
You know what though? I think this Kuba changed my perspective.
Yeah. Because
I just realized we're all just people.
Exactly.
And everyone faces rejection. But also, like, if you one of my favorite quotes from my favorite movie ever, A Cinderella Story, the one with Hilary Duff and Chad Michael Murray. There's this quote that says, "Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game."
Oh, beautiful quote right there.
Right? Isn't it a good quote? Yeah. Like, I remembered it to this day. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like sometimes when I'm like self-sabotaging or I'm talking myself out of doing something that I really want to do, I remember that quote. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what do I have to lose? Like, for real though. Like, what do I actually have to lose?
I still do that a lot. I am an overthinker for sure.
So am I. And don't get me wrong. I 100% will self-sabotage tomorrow for sure. But I just feel like I'm working towards not self-sabotaging and like putting myself out there. Yeah. Which at the same time, like in my mind, I've rationalized it like, well, Amir and I do a podcast. How else can we put ourselves, like, we're already out there. We're already online. We're here. Yeah. But I think, even us being on the podcast, whether we want to admit it or not, kind of puts us on a so-called platform, right? Like we have a certain reputation now. We have a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Like people view us, I guess, in a different way because we're known. And that
Are we really?
Like known within our community. Yeah. And I think that might cause some like intimidation. And people might like feel intimidated to approach us because like, oh, like they must know so many people, like they're not going to talk to me. And that's like the furthest thing from the truth. I feel like you and I do a pretty good job at like being welcoming and like receptive to anyone really. Yeah. So I hope that's not the perception that people have of us, but that's what I was told.
I never even thought about that.
Someone straight up said that to me, like people don't approach you because you're intimidating. I was like, I'm intimidating?
What? Like, are people not approaching me because I'm intimidating?
It's possible. Or you just
I feel like I'm a very open person.
You just don't check your DMs. That's all.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Let's get back to let me try and reiterate everything we said about this event because I don't know how much is in there. So
let's see how good your summary skills are.
Let's say we pulled up to the event. So let's say you're pulling up to the event, you're greeted with a table, and the first thing they get is your name, your age, and where you're from. And they start like, they write it down in a book and they're like, okay, you're assigned to this table number 8. And when you're sitting there, I believe, like you mentioned earlier, like I think they were supposed to, or they're trying to set up these tables by age range. But because of like how people were coming in a little bit later, since the night before there was a gala night. Or not the gala night. Yeah, there was a gala night and people were just out late. So people were tired. So that kind of got messed up a little bit, but it worked out for the most part, at least for my table. So we all sat down. We were getting, acclimated to the table. I, of course, even though I'm an introvert, I hate awkward silence. I hate awkward situations. So I will do anything in my power to alleviate that, even if it requires me to become an extrovert, which is basically what happened. And like, ironically enough, Nabat also got the table next to me. And as I was like trying to interact with the group, she's like, Amir, you're in podcast mode again. Because I just turn on this voice and I do it every time. I do it a lot more than I realize now. And
I think it's become part of you.
It is, yeah. But I think I was doing it before I had a podcast. I was just like, now it's because I have a podcast, you kind of tie to that. But yeah, so I was like getting everybody warmed up. We were talking, conversing, coming back and forth. And eventually they started the event. And remember, this is a mix and mingle event where like everybody's there for the intention of meeting someone. or hopefully meeting someone, but that also creates like an awkward air.
Yeah.
Like awkward air in the room, or like awkward feeling in the room.
Awkward vibes.
Yeah. So thankfully, like the hosts were good at like warming us up by doing, I think, the first game where they essentially got everybody to stand up and find your group, your month group, or the people born in your month. So like, but they never gave us instructions on how to do it. So it required you to kind of like put together a strategy on how to find it. Like you find the first person, and eventually if you find enough people, everybody started doing the strategy where they'll put their hands up. Yeah. And like, if you're like September, you would put up like 9 fingers. It sucked for the people who were in like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. Well, 10's easy.
Oh yeah.
You just put up, both.
Or 11
hands.
and 12.
Yeah.
Because, if you put up 2 fingers, you put your 2 index fingers, you're kind of being like, is this February or are we dealing with
That's
11
what my
here?
group did, though.
Yeah.
They were going like that. So I was looking at them like, February? They're like, no, November. I was like, finally.
Yeah.
I went to like every single month because I couldn't find mine.
I just stood and I was like, September. I just like shouted that out until I found a couple people. But thankfully, that worked out really nice. We all were, everybody was talking. When you find people in your own month, you kind of can kind of, just like, you feel more comfortable. I don't know what it is. September babies. At least I was my September babies. I feel like we're the coolest group here. There, so
I don't know about that. The November babies were vibing.
Yeah, were they?
Yeah. That's why we won.
Okay,
the game.
We'll talk about that. Okay. So once everybody was in their groups, they made us do this thing, which I thought was really cool. And I never seen this before, but essentially you would first play like rock, paper, scissors with the person next to you. And then the winner would move on and the loser would become their cheerleader. And like, as the person you're following like faces more people, if they're winning, they gather a more larger cheerleader group, and it just keeps doing that until, of course, naturally you're going to have 2 large groups cheering for like 2 people or your 2 challengers essentially. And thankfully, our guy won. Earlier I said I don't know if he was my guy, but I'm going to say right now he's my guy.
Not you claiming him. Not you claiming Yusuf.
But you can claim he was a November baby, so you can say that, okay?
Yeah.
So that got everybody warmed up. Everyone's kind of like, they're loosened up a bit more, right?
Yeah. I think the awkwardness was a little broken up at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they sat us all down. They gave us food to, warm up our bellies as well a little bit.
We were hungry.
Okay. I think I went to the gym that morning, but never ate anything because I knew we were going to have the brunch anyways. So I was ready. And going back to what I mentioned at the beginning for this whole sweat thing, like this is when I was the most insecure about my sweat because
it was so hot down there.
It was initially. It got a little cooler afterwards, but like because I had the pre-workout still going through me from the gym earlier, I was cooking in there. I was sweating so much, and
were you?
I was super insecure, and I tried to like play it off, but it was really like I was at one point thinking I should just go because of how much I was sweating. Yeah. Do
you want a little hack?
What?
You won't know what this is, but you could just get like a little pad that girls use and just put them on your little.
No, not for my arms, for my face. I sweat a lot in my face. Like today I was at the gym doing squats and I was breathing like out. I was going up and there's water, like sweat water, like shooting forward because of how much I was sweating.
Maybe you really should consider. I mean, like honestly, sweat is normal.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I like winter
about
sometimes because of the sweat thing. Yeah, okay.
It's summer. Everybody sweats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they don't, they probably got Botox.
Yeah, I guess so. But
don't worry, you're fine.
Okay. But once I got past that and we ate, what was I saying? Oh yeah, they got right into it. They basically did this thing where all the ladies would stay at their seats and the guys would get up. They would ask us, all the guys would get up and then move to the next table. So if you're on table like 1, you'd move to 2. If you're on 2, you move to 3. And they would give us 2 prompts basically to like get the conversation going once you make it to that table.
Yeah.
And essentially like we didn't know what the format would be, so like we would literally just go around the table and like ask each other or answer the question one by one. But near like halfway through it just turned into us like sitting down next to the person and be like, hey, so what's up? And you just start having a conversation, whether it's about the questions or just having a conversation in general.
Right.
But then after like maybe going through like 5 or 6 tables, maybe even 7 or 8, I can't remember how many, they're like, okay, guys, so, we see you guys are having some nice conversations here. So we're going to try something a little bit different. which I was not prepared for. This is when it got a little awkward. I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if it made it in the video because of what happened, but like this is when they're like, okay, guys, so we're gonna have you all stand up, and let's say if you feel like you've talked to someone that you're interested in, we want you to stand up and go and sit right next to them.
Yeah, I was like, guys, go shoot your shot, and it was
essentially
very awkward. Like,
and because you're doing it in front of like everyone.
Like all the guys just stood in the middle of the hall.
Yeah,
and the girls were confused. We're like, okay, what do we do?
Yeah,
and then the hosts were like, no, girls get up too, and we were like, okay. So then everyone's kind of just like standing.
Yeah,
and people didn't really know what to do, so they were all like just talking to like their friends.
Exactly. Yeah, it's because there's a lot that goes into why that was kind of awkward. But you know, this was their first time ever doing this. Yeah. So we're gonna give them a lot of grace. We're gonna be like, okay, like whatever didn't work this time, they know they can fix it for any future cases, and hopefully they can do this again in the future. Because I did like the event. I mean, hopefully I'm married by them. You know, just
if you're not, you should host it.
I guess no, because then that will put me out the game. Okay, what are you talking about?
No, because they'll notice you more. They'll be like, oh, the host is like, I want to go talk to him.
I don't think people do that, do they?
Really? I don't think the hosts were married. I don't know them.
Yeah, I don't think they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they got any game from that.
Hosts, if you're watching this, let us know if it worked for you.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was like going on. They said it was supposed to be just for 2 minutes, but that essentially turned on for was a thing for the rest of the event.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody was kind of like getting up, awkwardly standing around. I talked to a few people here and there, not by my own.
Can I tell the story?
What?
The story.
What story?
I think I told it actually in the next episode.
I can't remember. What was it? Go ahead.
Don't worry. I already told it in the next episode.
Okay, go ahead. Say it.
You want me to say it here too?
Maybe.
When I was trying to get you to talk to somebody, and I was trying to get you like.
Oh, okay, remember? Okay, yeah. Like Sara was making like the biggest eyes, pointing in a direction. I knew what you were trying to do.
Then why'd you play so dumb? I was like,
because like
really
I'm naturally guys. Naturally, whenever there's a group of people, I will address, especially if it's someone new that I maybe haven't interacted with as much. I will automatically just gravitate towards addressing that person and speaking to them to get to know them more.
But you weren't doing it. That's why I was like...
No, because I literally got there, okay?
Yeah.
I literally just got there. But yeah, if you're ever in a group with me and I don't know you, I will naturally just gravitate towards speaking to you because I want to get to know people. I'm just that kind of person. Yeah. Even though I always claim to be an introvert. What?
Someone's at the door.
Slowly. Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. And actually... Nabat has just entered the room. And speaking of Nabat, she like when this whole like awkward situation was going down, like right before that, this girl in front of everyone pulled me over.
Did you introduce him to someone?
She like introduced me, and
yeah, I already know.
It was the most.
Was it awkward?
Huh?
Was it awkward for you?
Yeah, because I'm like.
Wait, are you talking about mix and mingle?
Yeah, we were talking about the mix and mingle. Huh? I was literally dragged by this girl across the whole room.
But Amir, can I just say, guys, okay? Yeah. When this week started, when Kuba week started, Amir explicitly said, guys, help me find a wife. And you've never done that. So do you know how excited we are? Because every time in the past, when we've brought up this conversation...
It doesn't mean to drag me across
what does it mean?
room.
What does it mean then?
It means to point...
She wants the mic.
No, the mic's not on. The mic's not on. Okay.
Here. Come here.
Wait. Okay, 1 second. Let me plug in your mic. 1 second.
Yeah, we're going to plug the mic in at this point because the conversation's about to get juicy.
Okay, what was I saying?
Speak loudly.
He was saying that he felt awkward when you allegedly dragged him over to introduce him to someone.
Okay, first of all, I wasn't dragging him anywhere. I was encouraging him.
My feet were stumbling.
That's a you problem. Because I wasn't doing that. It's just been years since like people are always asking about Amir, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you're getting this opportunity, and I told him it didn't have to be something serious. Like, don't think of it as something as like, we're trying to set you up or whatever. I would just talk to people and not in like your podcast way, like just in a, like, you know, like on friendly vibes. And people ask about you all the time. So I'm like, let me just introduce you and you can make that decision on your own.
Right.
Like you can decide if that's your vibe or not, or like that's on you. But I was like, don't just stand here and just like avoid the situation. So I was like, okay, you know, I can introduce you to people I know, even if it's not your type or whatever it is. I'm gonna just introduce you. And like, this guy's trying to run out of the building.
Really?
I wasn't trying to run out of the building.
Bro, he was like, I'm so hot, I'm sweating, I need to go outside.
See, I told you about the whole sweating thing. 'Cause I was very insecure about the sweating, okay, to the point where I wanted to leave.
You weren't. It was not that bad.
It was bad.
You felt uncomfortable because you were sweating, but you didn't look like you were like dripping in sweat.
I was holding a tissue with me the whole time.
That's
okay.
fine.
Nobody. I didn't even notice the tissue, and I was next to you.
Me neither.
It's all in your head. I'm an overthinker. Okay.
It's literally all in your head, and I just think that like we were telling the story of when we were actually all standing together.
What?
Hopefully this isn't awkward. Like the person that this is about is going to be watching it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's up?
Whatever, it's fine. It is what it is. I was telling him, I'm like, when we were standing together, the three of us, and we were literally talking to each other, and there was someone that I wanted to introduce him to. So I was like, you know, when girls communicate with their eyes, okay? And the girl was sitting next to me, and I was just like, Amir, like, you know, I was looking in her direction, trying to signal him without being obvious, and he was just like, and I was like,
she's putting her hands up like
what? He was literally going like mouthing out like, what are you doing, what are you saying? And I was like, really, nigga, like really, like I said this in the other episode, but I felt like I was going cross-eyed, like trying to look at her. I'm like, yo, like, hello. And then eventually, you know, he claims that he got what I was trying to say, and he like the conversation flowed well. We'll see if anything amounts from that, but I don't know. But I was saying when we filmed our 100th episode, you know how Amir was like, oh yeah, you guys like helped me find a wife. So I was saying to him, like, you did not talk, you didn't set us up not even once that week. And how many guys does Amir know, or how many guys know Amir?
Hey, you already said this on episode 100.
I'm saying it again to emphasize.
Nah. Guys, okay, thank you again for listening.
No. Because I want Nabat's perspective.
We'll see y'all next week on a special 100th episode.
Stop deflecting. How do you feel about it?
About Amir not setting us up? Well, the fact that Amir can't.
Do guys do that though?
He can't set himself up.
Excuse me. The person that I was trying to introduce you to, her male cousin came to me and said, Sara, can you please introduce my cousin to someone? And I was like, I have the perfect candidate, my cousin Amir. So there you go. Your point was now proven, or my point was now proven. Exactly. Anyways, continue what you were saying.
No, I was just saying, like, Amir struggles with like just even setting himself up. Like,
no, you know what it is?
I feel like you're so uncomfortable in those situations that
because look, I'm always in survival mode. Okay. I'm not thinking about anyone else. I'm thinking about myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not
think you live in a third world country, my nigga? Like, what survival mode?
I have mental health issues, Sara.
How? Literally, like,
I have social anxiety and act like an extrovert to cover that and survive the situation because I don't like conflict. I don't like awkward situations.
But we all have social anxiety.
Literally, I feel like you say this, but then you're either lying or you overcompensate because you literally were running the bonfire the other day.
And we mentioned that.
Yeah.
You could not do that.
Because I know how, like, the thing is, my goal is to make sure that there's not as much conflict, everyone has a good time, and that there's no, like, awkward situation.
And that's fine. But like,
I don't know if I mentioned that again.
You need to shift your perspective from thinking about that being survival mode to you just being an open and friendly person. That's literally it. You're friendly and you want everyone to feel included. That's
but it's almost like a catfish or disingenuous because like me being friendly is more of me just like trying to avoid any type of conflict.
I don't think it's disingenuous. Give yourself a little bit of credit because if you were being disingenuous, you would have ulterior motives for being friendly.
My ulterior motive is
no, but you literally just said
actually, I really do. I like interacting with people and learning about them. Okay,
exactly. So that is being friendly. Like when you talk to someone, you're talking to them to get to know them, like even guy or girl, whatever it is. Like you're talking to them genuinely to get to know them.
Yeah.
Unless you're overthinking it and like putting the pressure on yourself. Like nobody sees that when they're talking to you. They're just like, oh, Amir's a great guy. He's really nice. And you have the innate like nature in you to be a nice guy. Like no, sometimes people aren't asking you to do stuff. You're just doing it because that's who you are.
Like I think in your mind you've conditioned yourself to see it as me being friendly equates to me being in survival mode. Like you've made that whole introvertedness part of your identity that you can't see yourself in any other light. It's time to think outside the box, my friend.
So let's turn into a therapy session.
I really did. But like I'm saying it though, because like I've noticed this about you. Like at first I'm like, he's not an introvert, but then I see it. But at the same time, I think you're just a healthy mix of both. But in your mind, you keep telling yourself like, no, when I have my extroverted tendencies, that's just me in survival mode. And you always kind of put this like negative connotation behind it.
No, okay. I'll say like I consider myself an introvert too. So I feel like I am very similar to Amir, but we just have different perspectives on it. Because when I'm in these social settings, I definitely push myself to be more social.
And I see that within you.
Right? Like, and he does the same thing, but for me it's like, okay, let me push myself out of my comfort zone. Like I can't be this introverted person all the time. And he sees that as I'm in survival mode. Like if I don't do this, I'm gonna like have a panic attack. Like it's literally the same thing, but it's a different perspective. And it's like maybe just you have to try like looking at it in a different way.
That's what I said. Like stop thinking about it as survival mode and start.
No, the survival mode thing is a recent observation. I literally at that event I spoke to Nabat like it was a therapy session.
We were standing
trying to figure out why I act this way. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm in like survival mode.
You might just have a slight discomfort with awkward silences around people that you're not comfortable with yet. Like I think if the three of us were hanging out and we're just sitting in silence, it's fine. We don't like, you know it, when our social batteries die out, we just resort to like watching videos together. Right? So it's fine amongst people that you know and you're comfortable with. But when you're meeting people for the first time and like, let's say another person isn't taking command of the conversation, you now feel that responsibility and you're like, well, if they're not going to do it, I'm going to have to do it. Right?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay. So, we've learned a lot this week.
We have.
And I'm gonna take this in. I'm gonna let this process.
Amir did not expect this episode to end this way.
and we will come back to you next week. Actually,
are you done talking about Kuba stuff?
Yeah, we're done now.
Yeah, pretty basically, much. Did you want to add anything to it?
No, I thought you were going chronological order.
We finished it all. Yeah,
you spoke about the Gala and everything.
Yeah. We spoke about the bonfire, all of that.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, like we're curious to know like what you guys, those of you that have attended, what you guys thought about it. Let us know, DM us or comment on the video.
I was gonna say like we should name this like Toronto Kuba 2023.
That'll get the most clicks.
What do you call it? Not 2023 like a recap. But then I realized like half the Hiiiiii parents are gonna probably be searching Toronto Kuba. I'm not trying to have this show up in the recommendations.
It definitely will. But also, like, I just have to add, we actually met a lot of you guys that listen and watch the video and watch the episodes, and some of you said hi to us, so thank you for saying hi. It was like nice to see the faces behind some of the comments and stuff that we get. So thank you guys so much for your support and all of the kind words.
The funny thing is I'll be like in the middle of a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh yeah, on your podcast. I'm like, wait, you know my podcast?
You know what's funny is like I'd meet someone and they'd be like, where do I know you from? I'm like, awkwardly like, I don't know. Where do you know me from? And they're like, do you have a podcast? And I was like, yeah. Sara, right? And I'm like, yeah. Where's Amir?
People in our communities, like they know us from like our YouTube stuff, but like people randomly in the streets or like in my gym and stuff would be like, oh, I see you on TikTok. Look at the For You page, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's been awkward a couple of times. But, it's worked out. It's fine.
I kind of like it, though. Like, when they say hi, like, I think at first I felt a little awkward because I just didn't know what to say. Yeah. But now it's like when people like, they give us the feedback to our faces, it's like, I love that. I love hearing what
I just tell them, make sure you subscribe, man. Just hit that subscribe button. Even if you're not going to watch the whole video, just hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Even though nowadays subscriptions doesn't really matter as much. It's more for like a personal thing.
Yeah.
But like recommendations are like a big part of YouTube.
Yeah. So, I mean, another successful year of Kuba in the books.
Inshallah, we'll see y'all next year in
Ethiopia.
That's where Kuba is supposed to be next year.
Specifically in Harar. So we're going back to our roots.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, they announced it at the Gala.
You coming?
I'll think about it.
Let's go together. That'll be so much fun.
Come on now.
You know my issue with Ethiopia.
You stay with me.
I don't know about this. We need to talk about this after.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. So all of you guys, you now know a year in advance. Plan your trips. See y'all in Ethiopia. And for those of you that are subscribed, we will see you guys next week for a spicy episode.
Bye. Oh, no?
Now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.